Good morning. Welcome to welcome to Unit 3 of learning the course Computer Organization and Architecture. We already completed 2 units. In the first unit, we learned about the basics related to computer organization and architecture. We also learned the register transfer language. In the second unit, we learned about various micro operations and the digital circuits which are used to perform all those micro operations. In third unit, we are going to learn about basic computer organization and design. Here we are going to learn about basic computer organization and design. That is, in this unit, we are going to learn about what about the formats of instructions and how instructions are executed. All those things that we are going to learn in this unit. Coming to the objectives of this unit, the main objectives are to learn various types of instructions, to know the instruction cycle, to know the instruction set and addressing modes of 8086. The outcomes of this unit are, by following this unit, the student will be able to learn various instructions and their formats, able to understand instruction cycle, and able to learn the instruction set and addressing modes of 8086. Coming to the syllabus, here this unit entirely covered in 8 sessions. In the first session, we are going to know about instruction codes. In the second session, we are going to learn about computer registers. In the third session, we are going to learn about computer instructions. In the fourth session, we are going to discuss about instruction cycle. In the fifth session, we are going to discuss about memory reference instructions. In the sixth session, we are going to discuss about register reference instructions. In the seventh session, we are going to discuss about input-output instructions, and also we are going to discuss about interrupt. And coming to the case study, in the 8th session and 9th session, we are going to discuss about the case studies. Those case studies are nothing but addressing modes of 8086 and instruction set of 8086. So here what we are learning here, here we are learning about instruction codes and instruction formats and various types of instructions. Related to those instructions, what is the instruction set of 8086 and how they are represented, and what the addressing modes that we are following for representing the effective address of operands. All those things that we are going to learn here in this unit. Welcome to session 1 of Unit 3 in learning the course Computer Organization and Architecture. In this session, we are going to learn about instruction codes. The main objectives of this session are to learn stored program organization and to understand direct and indirect addressing. The main outcomes of this session are, by following this session, the student will be able to understand stored program organization. That is how a program is stored and how various parts of instructions are represented. All those things that we are going to learn. And the student will be able to understand direct addressing and indirect addressing of operands. So, before going to know about all those things, first we need to know the basic definitions related to this stored program organization. Now, first I am going to explain you the basic definition, the first definition. What is a computer instruction? What is a computer instruction? A computer instruction is a binary code that specifies a sequence of micro operations for the computer. What is a computer instruction? A computer instruction is a binary code that specifies a sequence of micro operations for the computer. Suppose, for example, if I am writing an instruction like this, 110. So here, this is a binary code. 110 is a binary code. This specifies some operation. This specifies some operation. Suppose let us say that operation as add, that operation as add, addition operation. Now here, for doing this addition operation, the arithmetic logic unit has to perform a sequence of micro operations. All those micro operations can be specified by this binary code. Suppose for example, here it is having some code, all those things. So like that, this is the computer instruction binary code that I have. So this binary code consists of various parts. Some part represents operation and some part represents address, some part represents other things. So whatever it may be, the entire binary code represents sequence of micro operations that should be carried out by the system to complete the given task. Right. Next definition is instruction code. What is an instruction code? An instruction code is a group of bits that instruct the computer to perform a specific operation. Instruction code is a group of bits. That is also, it is also a binary code that instruct the computer to perform a specific operation. That specific operation may be addition operation, subtraction operation, or multiplication, or logic operation, or shift operation, whatever it may be. So it instructs the computer to do a specific operation. Now, every computer has its own unique set of unique instruction set. So based on the configuration of the system, it is having its own instruction set. So the most basic part of instruction code is its operation part. So here your instruction code consists of various parts. It is divided into various parts. The main basic part of instruction is operation code part, which is called as opcode. Operation part, which is called as opcode. Now, what is that opcode? Opcode of an instruction is a group of bits that define such operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, shift, complement, etc. Here, the operation code is a group of bits that define. I already said you that. Suppose for example, if you take 110, that may indicate addition. If I write 101, that may indicate AND operation. If I write something, some binary code, that may represent some other operation. So like that, it may represent various operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, shift operations, complement operations, logic operations, etc. Okay, so here it is a binary code that tells the computer to perform a specific operation. So here we seen what is computer instruction, what is instruction code, and what is operation code. We learned about computer instruction, instruction code, and operation code. Everything. Computer instruction is a binary code, instruction code is a binary code, operation code is also a binary code. Computer instruction means it is a general one. It represents sequence of micro operations. Instruction code means a group of bits. It is divided into number of parts. How an instruction is represented for a particular computer. How many bits should be allocated for the representation of address. How many bits should be allocated for the representation of operation. All those things should be represented in instruction code. That is a specific format for the representation of a computer instruction is nothing but instruction code. That instruction code contains various parts. Out of all those parts, the most important part is operation code. The most important part is operation code. So everything. So if you want to represent the address, or if you want to represent the operation, or if you want to represent any other thing, everything should be represented in binary only. So that's why all those are group of binary digits. Computer instruction, instruction code, as well as operation code. All those are binary digits. But every one is having its own meaning. Computer instruction means generally what is computer instruction. Instruction code means what the format that we are using for the representation of that particular computer instruction. Okay, so based on that is for some configured systems, we may use 3 bits for the representation of operation. In some configurations, we may use 4 bits for the representation of operation. And addressing scheme will also be changed based on the size of memory. Some systems may require 11 bits, some 12 bits, some systems may require 16 bits. Like that, the address, number of bits that are required to represent the address will also be changed. So that's why for a particular computer system, based on its configuration, the instruction code format will be available. Now, this instruction code contains various parts. Out of all those parts, the basic part, the most important part is operation part. What is that operation means? That operation is also a group of bits that defines a specific operation, which is nothing but what we are going to do. We are going to do whether addition operation or subtraction operation or multiplication or shift operation. Like that, all those operations are to be represented. So, right. Next, we are going to see how many. I already said you that based on the configuration, number of bits required may be changed. Now here, the number of bits required for the operation code of an instruction depends on the total number of operations available in the computer. Suppose, for example, your computer consists of 8 operations. Totally, it consists of 8 operations. Then, how many number of bits that are used for the representation of those operations? I need 3 bits for the representation of those operations. Suppose, for example, your system contains only 2 operations. Your system contains only 2 operations. Then it is sufficient to have only 1 bit, either 0 or 1. 2 operations can be represented. The first operation can be represented using 0. Second operation can be represented using 1. If your system contains 4 operations, I need 2 bits. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. These 4 representations are required for the representation of those 4 operations. That is, first operation is represented with 0, 0. Second operation is represented with 0, 1. Third operation is represented with 1, 0. And fourth operation is represented with 1, 1. In the same way, if your system contains 8 operations, we need 3 bits. If your system contains 16 operations, a set of 16 operations, then it needs 4 bits. Like that, based on number of operations that are present, that are available in your computer, in the instruction code, we allocate space for the operation code. Now, the computer reads each instruction from memory and places it in a control register. So, first, whenever we write a program or we write an instruction, initially that instruction is stored into the memory. So, whenever the processor wants to execute that instruction, first it is to be fetched from the memory and it is placed in the control register. The control then interprets the binary code of the instruction and proceeds to execute it by issuing a sequence of micro operations. Now, this control unit, whatever the instruction that we placed in control register, that is decoded by the control unit, Now, after decoding, it goes for identifying what is the operation that we represented in that instruction. Based on that operation, it issues a sequence of micro operations. Okay, what the micro operations that should be done to complete that particular operation or to complete the execution of that particular instruction. Now, control unit receives the instruction from memory and interprets the operation code bits. I already said you that. So, from memory, it has to access the instruction and it has to interpret the binary code. That is, it has to decode the binary code. After decoding only, it knows what the operation that we represented in the instruction code. Based on that operation, it goes for issuing a sequence of micro operations. Now, in what sequence that it does means, first it takes from memory and then it interprets, that is, it decodes. After that, it issues a sequence of control signals to initiate the micro operations in the internal registers. Now, what is happening later? So, for every operation code, the control issues a sequence of micro operations needed for the hardware implementation of the specified operation. So, not only for the internal registers. Here we are saying that after decoding the operation code, the control issues a sequence of micro operations for the internal registers. Not only for the internal registers, it also issues a control signals for the hardware to implement the specified operation. So, for this reason, an operation code is sometimes called as a macro operation because it specifies a set of micro operations. So, here we have some micro operations related to internal registers. We have micro operations related to hardware. So, like that, for the execution of an instruction, for the execution of an operation code which is present an instruction, the control issues sequence of micro operations related to internal registers, related to hardware and etc. So that's why the operation code is to be called as a macro operation. So why we are calling it as a macro operation? It contains a set of micro operations. That's why we are calling it as a macro operation. Now this operation must be performed on some data stored in processor registers or in memory. So here whatever the operation code that we are taking, that operation code should be implemented on the data. That data may be either stored in the internal registers or it may be stored in the memory. Now an instruction code must therefore specify not only the operation but also the registers or the memory words where the operands are to be found, as well as the register or memory word where the results to be stored. Now what I am saying, so here my instruction code contains an operation code. My instruction code contains an operation code. Let us take that operation code as addition. Now on which data I have to implement addition? So suppose for example I want to implement addition on 10 and 15. Where I can get that 10 and 15? So from where I have to access the 10 and 15? The 10 and 15 may be stored in internal registers or it may be stored in memory. So in internal registers, in which registers that 10 and 15 are stored, or in which memory locations that 10 and 15 are stored? I need to specify the addresses of those registers or memory locations. So always not only the operation code, the instruction code should represent the addresses of registers or memory addresses and memory location addresses, and also after getting the results, these results should be stored in either register or memory. Where to store these results? In which register I have to store that result? In which memory location I have to store the result? That should also be specified by the instruction code. Now memory words can be specified in instruction codes by their address. I already said you that. So either a register or a memory, we need to specify which register or which memory. Now next we are going to see stored program organization. So before going to see stored program organization, I'll explain you what we discussed till now. So we seen the basic definitions related to the instructions, computer instructions. We seen what is a computer instruction, what is an instruction code, what is operation code. Now what is a computer instruction? A computer instruction is a binary code that specifies a sequence of micro operations for the computer. Now what is instruction code? Instruction code is a specific format in which we represent a particular computer instruction. That is instruction code. Okay, it is also a group of bits. Instruction code is also a group of bits, but it specifies the format of that particular computer instruction. Now coming to operation code, an instruction code contains various parts. Out of all those parts, the major part is operation code, which specifies a specific operation for the computer, such as addition, subtraction, logic operations, shift operations, etc. Now, how the instruction is to be executed? Initially, whenever you write the instruction into the system, that is stored into the memory locations, or they are stored, that is stored into the memory location. Now, the control first access the instruction from memory and places that instruction into a control register. After that, this instruction is decoded, that is, it is interpreted, and then it identifies that what operation that it should have to carried out. Now, based on that operation, it issues a sequence of micro operations. Now, on which data these micro operations are operated? On the data stored in registers or the data stored in memory locations. So, the instruction code not only specifies the operation code, it should specify in which register the data is present or in which memory location the data is present. And also, after processing the data, that is, after performing operation on the data, we are obtaining some results. Those results should also be stored into the registers or to the memory locations. On which to which register I have to store the result, to which memory location I have to store the result. That also to be specified by the instruction code. Now, coming to stored program organization. Now here the simplest way to organize a computer, so here in this stored program organization, what we are explaining is how a computer instruction is stored in a memory. How a computer instruction is stored in a memory. In this stored program organization, later we are going to discuss about how addresses are represented. So here we have two concepts. One is how instruction is stored, that is how the instruction code is present. What is the instruction code format? What are the various parts that are present in the instruction code format? And how the addresses are represented? How the operations are represented? All these things that we need to know. Okay. Now, as part of that, first we are going to see how your computer is initially organized. The simplest way to organize a computer is to have one processor register and an instruction code format with two parts. The first part specifies the operation to be performed and the second part specifies an address. Now here, how a computer instruction is represented, the instruction code format, how the instruction code format present, the instruction code format consists of two parts, The first part specifies the operation. Here the first part is used to specify the operation and the second part specifies the address. So generally what we follow the format for instruction code. Here the instruction code contains two parts. First part is used for the representation of operation. Second part is used for the representation of address. Now the memory address tells the control where to find an operand in memory. This operand is read from memory and used as the data to be operated on together with the data stored in the processor register. That is, suppose for example, for doing addition operation, we need to have two operands. What they are saying is, one operand can be obtained from the memory and other operand can be obtained in the processor register. These two operands, addition operation will be performed and it produces a result. The result may be placed to the processor register or it may be stored to the memory location. Right. So after that, now here I am saying that a basic computer, so how the stored program organization is present, I am showing here. I have taken a basic system. For that basic system, what becomes the size of instruction code, what are the various parts, for which part, which size should be allocated, that I am going to explain. Now here, my basic system contains a memory of size 4096 by 16. So what is that 4096 by 16? What is that 4096 by 16? What that indicates? This memory contains 4096 locations. This memory contains 4096 locations and each location can hold 16 bits of data. Each location can hold 16 bits of data. That is the indication of size of memory. Okay, right. That means here this entirely is your memory. Some part of memory is used to store data. Some part of memory is used to store instructions. Now it is already we know that the memory is to be organized as number of locations. It is to be organized as number of locations. Each location is called as a word. Each location is called as a word. Now, this memory size is 4096 by 16 means it is having totally 4096 locations. That is 0 to 4095. Totally 0 to 4095. That is 4096 locations are there and each location can hold 16 bits of data. So here it is having 16 bits of data. In each location we can place 16 bits of data. Now, right. So after that, here we are saying that for accessing the instruction from memory or for accessing the data from memory, we need to represent the address of memory location, in which location that particular instruction or data is present. Now, how to represent the addresses of memory locations? That we need to know. Now, so suppose for example, your memory contains only 2 locations. Your memory contains only 2 locations. How to represent the address of those 2 locations? The first location can be represented with an address 0. Second location can be represented with an address 1. That is, if your memory contains 2 locations, for the representation of address, how many number of bits that I need? I need only 1 bit. I need only 1 bit. Suppose if your memory contains 4 locations, your memory contains 4 locations. So, your memory contains 4 locations. How many bits that I need for the representation of address of each location? So, now, let us see. The first location is represented with an address 00. Second location is represented with an address 01. Third location is represented with an address 10. And fourth location is represented with an address 11. That is, here I need 2 bits for the representation of address of each location. So, here 4 means 2 power 2. 2 means 2 power 1. Here, if your memory contains 2 locations, since 2 means 2 power 1, I need 1 bit for the representation of address of each location. If your memory contains 4 locations, 4 is equal to 2 power 2, we need 2 bits for the representation of address of each location. If your memory contains 8 locations, that is 2 power 3 locations are there. How many bits that you need for the representation of address of each location? We need 3 bits. 3 bits second inch from where to where those 3 bits are present? From 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, those addresses are present. That is, the first location is represented with the address 0, 0, 0. Second location is represented with the address 0, 0, 1. Third location is represented with the address 0, 1, 0. And so on. Last location, that is 8th location is represented with an address 1, 1, 1. So, here your system contains 4096 locations. What is that 4096? It is nothing but 2 power 12 locations are present. 2 power 12 locations are present. If it contains 2 power 1 locations, it needs 1 bit for the address. If it contains 2 power 2 locations, it needs 2 bits for the address. If it contains 2 power 3 locations, it needs 3 bits for the address. If it contains 2 power 12 locations, it needs 12 bits for the representation of address of each location. Now, those 12 bits are present from 12 zeros to 12 ones. Those 12 bits are present from 12 zeros to 12 ones. That is, 12 zeros are used for the representation of address of first 0th location, that is first location in the memory. Now, 11 zeros 1 is used for the representation of address of second location. 10 zeros 1 0 is used for the representation of address of third location, and so on. 4096 location can be represented by using 12 ones. Like that, we need 12 bits for the representation of address of each location. I hope that you all understood what is that basic system and what about its configuration. Now, here we are taking a basic system which contains a memory of size 4096 by 16. That is, this memory contains 4096 locations. Each location can hold 16 bits of data. Since it contains 4096 location, that is 2 power 12 locations it contains, the address of each location needs 12 bits. The address of each location needs 12 bits. Now, let us see. Here, since it needs, the address of each location needs 12 bits in the instruction code. So, here this is the instruction code what I am taking. Now, here in this instruction code, the first 0 to 11 bits which are used for the representation of address of memory location, and since it is a 16-bit register, Since it is a 16-bit address, the memory word entirely itself is 16 bits. So in one location, we are going to store one instruction. Since it is 16 bits, we are taking a 16-bit instruction code. In that 16 bits, the first 12 bits which are used for the representation of address, the remaining 4 bits which are used for the representation of operation. Which are used for the representation of operation. Now here operand. So generally if you want to store the operands in memory location, the operand may be present as 16 bits. Since each location can hold 16 bits of data, it can hold 16 bits. In the same way, the processor register, which is nothing but accumulator. We generally call the processor register as accumulator, which is represented with the AC. Now the processor register, whose size is also of 16 bits. That is, we can hold 16 bits data in that processor register. So here, how the instruction code format is present, that is explained in this slide. So I hope you all understood how the instruction code format is present. Instruction code takes 16 bits. It is having two parts. The first part is used for the address. Since this needs 12 bits for the address, the 0 to 11 bits are assigned for the address. Remaining 4 bits, 12, 13, 14, 15, remaining 4 bits are used for the representation of opcode. Right? Now, next one. The same thing here I explained. Instructions are stored in one section of memory and data in another section. I already represented one part of memory is for instructions and other part of memory is for data. For a memory unit with 4096 words, we need 12 bits to specify an address. Since it contains 2 power 12 locations, we need 12 bits for the representation of its address. If we store each instruction code in 16-bit memory word, we have available 4 bits for the operation code. Okay, to specify 1 out of 16 possible operations and 12 bits to specify the address of an operand. Okay, now I already said you that this is the instruction code. This is the instruction code. 0 to 11 bits are used for the address and 12 to 15 bits which are used for the opcode. Now here the control reads the 16-bit instruction from the program portion of the memory. It uses 12-bit address part of the instruction to read a 16-bit operand from the data portion of the memory. It then executes the operation specified by the instruction. What it is saying? First, the control unit reads the 16-bit instruction and it decodes that instruction. By decoding that instruction from the address part, it knows that where the data is available. From the operation code part, it knows that which operation that it has to perform. So here it accesses the data from that address where the operand is present in the memory location. It knows the address. From that address, it accesses that 16-bit data and it takes the second data from the processor register and it implements the operation, and finally the result will be stored into the processor register or to the memory location. Right. Next one, indirect addressing. So here we are saying that the 0 to 11 bits are used for the representation of address of operand. For the representation of address of operand, we are using 0 to 11 bits. Now, in sometimes we may represent the data indirectly. So, how to specify that indirect addressing? That here I am going to explain. Now, it is sometimes convenient to use the address bits of an operation of an instruction code not as an address but as the actual operand. So, in sometimes in the instruction code, in the instruction code, so here if you are taking, this is the instruction code, here this represents the address. Instead of address, direct operand can also be represented. In sometimes it is convenient to represent direct operand in place of address. When the second part of instruction code specifies operand, the instruction is said to have immediate operand. So here it is having immediate operand. Directly the control takes the operand from the instruction code itself. It takes the, if it needs a second operand, the second operand can be taken from the processor register and it operates on those two data items. Now, when the second part specifies the address of an operand, the instruction is said to have direct address. So, if it is address, so here, if it is called as direct address of operand is present. If it is operand, it is called as immediate operand mode. Immediate operand mode of the instruction code. Now, If now coming to another possibility is there. So here we are seeing two possibilities. One possibility is that the address path contains the operand itself. Second possibility is the address path contains address itself. So another variation is there, a contrast variation is there. So which is nothing but the third possibility, which is called as indirect addressing, where the bits in the second part of the instruction designate an address of a memory word in which the address of operand is present. That is, here we have address of memory word. Here we have address of memory word. If you go to that address in the memory, there you will find address of operand. So actually in earlier case, here this is also address. If you go to this address in the memory, there you will find operand. Here you will find operand. This is called as direct addressing. But in sometimes we represent indirect addressing. Now here we have the address of memory. If you go to the address, there you will find the address of operand. If you go to that address, there you will find the operand. Now here, how to deviate this direct addressing and indirect addressing? Here we need one bit in the instruction code to differentiate this direct addressing and indirect addressing. Now let us see here, your instruction code format is represented in three parts. The first part 0 to 11 bits which are used to represent the address. Second part 12 to 14 bits which are used to represent the opcode. The 15th bit which is used for the representation of mode part. Here this part is called as mode bit I. If the mode bit I is equal to 0, it indicates direct addressing. If mode bit I is equal to 1, it indicates indirect addressing. If mode bit I is 0, the address what is present here is address of operand. If mode bit is 1, what the address is present in the address part, if you go to that address, there you will find the address of operand. If you go to that address, there you will find the operand. Okay, here for better understanding, we given an example. Let us see the example. Here I written an instruction. Let us see this instruction. 0, add 457. Since this is 0, this indicates the direct instruction, direct addressing. Since it is direct addressing, this address indicates the operand. That is, if you go to this address in the memory, there you will find the operand. The control accesses that operand and another operand is present in processor register. This operand is present. Now both are to be added, these two. This is operand from memory. This is operand 1. This is operand from accumulator, operand 2. These two are added and result is passed to again accumulator. So this is the direct addressing. If you go to this is the instruction. Now here if you observe this instruction, the mode part indicates 1. That is, it is indirect addressing. If you observe this one, the mode part is 0. This is direct addressing. Okay. Now if you go to this one represents a memory location address where the address of operand is available. So if you go to this address, this is the 300 address. If you go to this address, you will find a value which is nothing but address of operand. If you go to this address, there you will find the operand. Now this operand is accessed, which is nothing but operand 1. The second operand is accessed from accumulator, second operand 2. These two are added and result is placed to accumulator. So I hope that you all understood what is direct addressing and what is indirect addressing. Right. So here in this session we explained about stored program organization. I'm going to repeat, I'm going to revise the concepts what we explained in this session. In this session, we explained some basic definitions that are computer instructions, instruction code, operation code, etc. And how the instruction execution is going to be happened. That also we explained. And also we seen the instruction code format for a basic system. Here we take in the configuration of basic system as 4096 by 16. That is, that system contains 4096 locations and each location can hold 16 bits of data. Since it is having 4096 locations, that is 2 power 12 locations, each location can be represented with an address of 12 bits. Now, and each location can hold 16 bits of data. We are taking the size of instruction code as 16 bits. Now, out of those 16 bits, the first 0 to 11 bits which are used for the representation of address and remaining 4 bits which are used for the representation of opcode. In that case, since we allocated 4 bits for the opcode, we can represent 16 operations. And we have 0 to 11 bits which is used for the representation of address of the memory locations. We can represent any of those 4096 locations. Okay. Now, that is the basic representation of instruction code. So, but we have alternatives for the representation of instruction code. So, if the address part itself contains the operand, so we are not representing address in the address part, direct operand that we are representing in the address part. That type of representation is called as immediate mode. And if we represent address at the address part, that is called as direct addressing. So there is another contrasting representation for these two, immediate mode and direct mode, which is nothing but indirect mode. So if we are representing the address in indirect mode, we need to have a specific bit that should differentiate the direct addressing and indirect addressing. For that, we are using 3 bits for the opcode and 1 bit for the mode. That is, the instruction code 16 bits, 0 to 11 bits which are used for the address, 12 to 14 bits which are used for the representation of opcode, and 15th bit which is used for the representation of mode bit. That mode bit is used to differentiate whether the given address is direct addressing or it is indirect addressing. So since here we allocated 3 bits only for the opcode, we can represent 8 operations. 8 operations that we can represent in the opcode part. And if mode bit is 0, the address what we represented in the address part is direct address. If you go to that address, there you can access the operand. If mode bit is 1, what the address we represented in the address part is indirect address. That is, if you go to that address in the memory, there you will find the address of operand. If you go to that address, there you will find the operand. So I hope that you all understood what is stored program organization, what is instruction code format, how it should be present for a basic system. So what are the various parts, all those things that you may be understood. Now here, to assess yourself, here I given some questions. Please answer these questions. The first question is, define the following. Here I given 3 terms for defining. Those 3 terms are computer instruction, instruction code and operation code. Next, the second question is, explain direct and indirect addressing using an example. So here, what is direct addressing and what is indirect addressing in stored program organization? Explain those two with an example. In preparing this presentation, I used the digital content from various public sources. It is used only for educational purpose and not for the commercial purposes. Thank you.